That's a good call.
He's a bit of a lord. One would call him a fire lord.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and check out the draft, see what our teams are picking up and what's being played.
All right. So this is going to be, once again, an interesting place. We normally have seen in the past, very, very prevalently, something like Kerrigan. Fallen off a little bit, though, at the moment, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, she's definitely fallen off. She has a really hard time facing off against Double Warrior.
Yeah.
You have a hard time getting to that back line. You have to kind of wait for your opponents to get kind of low, so you need really strong poke, but people don't know how to play around such strong poke, so she's been having a hard time, but I agree with you. This battleground is the one battleground that she still has a moment to shine. This is where she spotlights. However, I think she's moved from a first to second pick to more of a fourth, fifth surprise pick, right?
Yeah.
Just because she has such a hard time dealing with front lines that are robust, and they're so good in the meta right now.
Lyric gets banned out on the side of Misfits here to start things off. A bit of an uncharacteristic ban, I would say, on their side.
Yeah.
But let's see where Dignitas is going to go. Do they go down the Tassadar path? They banned it in the first game. Second game, it did cause some problems. And obviously, that second ban that we saw from Dignitas in the previous game had to go down the Tracer route because Tassadar was available on that side. But not as common a composition, a duo on this map, I would say.
To be honest, I mean, I would be prone to being full salt mode right now and just banning Tassadar because he prevented me from winning the last game. So I would just be like, all right, ban Tassadar out, whatever, man. Tassadar does get banned out, and again, he just fits in. You saw how well Hospitalops played him and how they really just empowered Darkmok to be such a beast in those fights. Ragnaros, once again, taken from Misfits here, and it seems like this hero is just the cream of the crop here for Misfits. Yeah,
this might be the Darkmok Ragnaros that we see actually coming into play here. Because he does play it very, very well on this map. It just depends on what the rest of the composition revolves around. So Malfurion and Falstad being picked up on the side there, so that is pretty much, well, usually Snitch locked in and Bakery locked in, but Falstad can sometimes bounce around between Snitch and Mene, depending on the full comp.
So Misfits has been really valuing some kind of damage or double support so far in our drafts. Right now, though, I wouldn't mind if they moved into a Dahaka pickup here. Dahaka on this map in particular is just such a powerhouse. If not, he needs to be banned in the second phase. Just because Dahaka gives you the wave clear, that is actually important. Like, Primal Aggression is...
It's amazing.
It's nasty, right? It destroys waves. And then you get the situation where your teammates can move into the Shrine phase, start getting some pokes in, and then when a fight actually breaks out, you just move on in and kill people, right?
I like how you're thinking, man. My two favorite heroes currently, Ragnaros and Dahaka.
Yeah.
So if they do that, even though I'm normally Team Dignitas, Misfits might be just kind of stealing me away there for a moment. Who knows? Who knows?
We could see if it would be a thing. I know Darkmok has played a little bit of the Dahaka. He has some experience in that hero. I mean, the guy's so talented he can play anything, right? He could pull out a Murky here and make some plays, let's be real. But nonetheless, Dahaka would be awesome. However, Diablo and Zeratul will be the choices here. I like the transition of picking out Diablo here, just because we were talking about it earlier. He's great on Team of Spider Queen. Same effect here.
Yes.
When you move into the Shrine phase, there are so many walls in the area and so many chokes that Diablo, it just becomes a literal bouncer, right? He says, you want to come in? All right, let's go. He picks you up and throws you into the team.
And then that now locks in my suspicions from prior that Darkmok probably will be on that Ragnaros, Nurok on the Zeratul. So they've rounded out a very strong little melee comp that they've got going there. Jaina has to be the ban here for Team Dignitas because they don't want to face off against the lethal combo that we saw in game number 1.
And the thing is, Zeratul and Diablo are a lethal combo as is.
Yes.
Void Prison into Apocalypse, like, all right, well, goodbye, especially with the Ragnaros follow-up as a first smash. But what I like about Misfits is they've been playing layered. It's not all combos, right? Ragnaros occasionally opens up with a Saphira smash if he's escaping. We've seen Zeratul just use a Void Prison just to get utility out of it. They have so much versatility already with their first 3 picks.
That's why I feel that Misfits in the HGC Europe right now, along with, I would say, Team Expert, are probably 2 of the hardest teams to ban out. Like, they have so much versatility between them all, and so much versatility in even just the way they use their spells, never mind what composition that they're going to run, that, banning them is difficult.
It's insane how scary skill meeting actual knowledge of the game can just take a team and elevate them to such high limits. I love about Europe. They have so much depth, man, and all these replays I've been watching lately, they're just everything they can find a way to finagle a win out of.
I mean, everybody out there watching now, like, they know the European region. They know that Dignitas is a 4-time champion of Europe. And Misfits right now is just pulling out play after play. Admittedly, the last game was a little bit close, but
Sure.
other than, rightly so, because Dignitas are very good, but Misfits is just a little step better right now. Kerrigan.
There she is, being taken out here, so Kerrigan will now be available. I'm looking for maybe a little bit more damage or a follow-up engage. ETC kind of makes sense. It's a tried-and-true combo. You get Kerrigan combo into a power slide. Wouldn't mind seeing even a double support here. Stitches getting picked up, though. Wow.
All right. Welcome to you, you terror of Darkshire, you. Oh, this is... We all know how good Jay is on Stitches. Probably the best Stitches in Europe. I don't know about the world at the moment. We're in it's a new year.
We'll just say it. We'll throw it out there.
Best in the world.
Best in the world.
Best in the world.
Yeah, immediately I think about this and it makes sense. Diablo, Zeratul, Misfits has engage, right? They can start a fight, and if they get the engage they want, it works out very well. You pick Stitches, suddenly you get in a situation where you can pick off a member, especially with Malfurion's roots following up. You get the Kerrigan combo afterwards, and you eliminate someone, and you move into a 5v4, which is where Kerrigan can thrive. Stitches makes complete sense here.
All right, so Misfits is going with a composition that doesn't quite have as much sustainability as their previous game, but oh boy, does it have power on this map. Sylvanas and Ragnaros to be the pushing power, the dominant force behind if you get a Punisher or if you're defending against a Punisher. That's scary.
Yeah, I look at Misfits and I just see, oops-a-daisy, we won the game comp. You get a shrine, right?
Damn.
You push in, you turn off the fort, you kill the fort.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you push into the keep, and then if you are just starting to run out of steam power, Ragnaros shows up, turns into a big flame of fire, and takes everyone out. They have a very strong comp for if they take the first shrine phase and they're ahead in 1 or 2 levels, they can just steamroll their way to a keep.
Oh, Medivh comes in. I thought it had to be a quality pick, something a little bit off the mark, off the normal mark here, and that will probably be Snitch on the Medivh, because he's, well, I've seen him play it quite a bit. He's pretty darn good at it.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an exciting thing to see here as the wild card coming out from Team Dignitas.
Quite the wild card, and again, something can be very helpful. First off, Leyline Seal can be a great pickup, especially against Apocalypse. You drop it in, you don't have the quite wombo combo that you'd want. It's great against the Void Prison as well. You just drop it when they're trying to move in, and suddenly you mess up all the timings. And then you can also go the Polybomb route, which is just as strong as well. Overall, Dignitas is going for a bit of an odd composition that has such synergy that if they pull it all off, they can really just keep getting isolated picks after isolated picks.
Yeah, they're moving towards something that a lot of people in the current meta right now see Medivh as kind of that support role, I suppose. So kind of moving over to like a double support air to this.
Sure.
Could work wonders, but I'm still so scared of Misfits as Ragnaros, Sylvanas, etc. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit fearful as well. You still kind of get the pseudo Uther type of feel here with the Force of Wills. You get to drop them on top of the Kerrigan when she goes in for the engage. You get the combo. You can work on the auto attacks, but you're still susceptible to CC. Granted, portals will have to come in and help out with that scenario, but Diablo is quite the bodyguard. We were talking about it earlier. He could stand on top of a portal and say, I dare you. Come on through. Let's do it.
You can either flip him or push him. Either way, you got it. It's Diablo. He's good at controlling space.
Yeah. So overall, Misfits has wonderful tools if Dignitas does mess up. However, Dignitas, if they get the engage they want, I can see them running away with this game, especially early on. So early on, they're going to have to be on point. Misfits maybe play a little bit more passively, wait for a couple mistakes to happen, and then seize the day. Full Caesar mode.
Yeah, I do hope that Dignitas is able to kind of bring it back here. I would love to see more games between these two teams. It's a little bit of a shame to see it 3-0, but at the same time, it's great to see how dominant a team like Misfits could be. So I think it's going to be close.
All right, game 3, let's do it. Hopping in, Misfits taking on Dignitas. Remember, Misfits is up 2-0. If they take this match, they win the entire series.
All right, to the left-hand side in the blue, down 2-0 in this best of 5. It's Bakery going to be on Malfurion, Zalia on Kerrigan, Mene going to be playing Falstad, JPL playing Stitches, and finally Snitch is going to round out the lovely little Medivh. Look at them, beautiful. Look at the green hair. Oh, got a glimpse. It was a flash.
On the far right for our red team. Let's check them out as well. Here is a Misfits. That Blomby man, team captain. Darkmok, the god and assassins. Nurok, he hits buttons. Gotta love Splendor, he hits buttons just as well. And there's Hasselhoff, man. He's been in the game for a while.
God, they're really good at this video game.
They are.
Oh, I can't believe. And to be honest, you know, the back and forth. You liked the Nurok Lil Ragnaros. I'm the the Master Skin. I'm the Master Skin. This is actually the first time, other than myself, I've seen somebody playing the Master Skin.
Darkmahawk is full senpai there, man. He's got the master. He teaches all around. Nurok the learner. All right, so here we go. And the top lane, you see Hasselhoff set up here for a little bit of pressure. Dignitas did a good job of spreading out their forces to make sure to deal with Sylvanas cheese. As you all know, they always try to go for a turret and get a slight lead. However, that will not be the case here.
And look at that, just timing out that perfectly. Doesn't want his entire team helping him clear that wave because he wants to bring them as low as possible so that he can stack his level 1 on Ragnaros as best he can. Get 30 stacks and it becomes very powerful.
Small note, by the way, Snitch looked for Sylvanas because they wanted to make sure they had a rotation available if Sylvanas did go for any type of push.
Look what they're doing.
Hasselhoff's hiding nicely here. It still has not been revealed where he's at, which means if they were to guess incorrectly, they could push bottom lane in. A hook, though, does go off, and we have Darkmahawk taken out.
That was the least climactic first blood of all time, but it happened, and yeah, off the back of a hook, I'm not surprised really. We're going to be looking at JPL a lot in this game. If he can land the hooks, that will turn the tide well in Dignitas' favor. If not, it could just falter and fall apart. Yeah,
he's definitely the early game to look at here, so we'll watch him. At level 4, we'll start looking at Kerrigan. So when the shrine pops up, she gets level 4 talent. She's able to start ravaging those minions down. Splendor and Trouble. Where's the hook? He nails it. JPL helps with the kill, and 2 takedowns right away here for Dignitas.
Yeah, let's take just a small little look at that once again and see kind of the finite details while Sylvanas is doing her thing up towards the top.
Pushing in, keeping up the aggression. Yeah, we want to actually keep an eye on this as Hasselhoff is getting a little bit more experience because this is actually very impactful. You want to get to 4 as soon as possible when the shrine activates. You want to be able to be on even power spikes. So grabbing that turret is actually a relatively big play, and it almost helps deal with the 2 heroes that you've lost.
And this is why we see Kerrigan's really good on this map. Just watch the beauty of it for a moment.
Just enjoy the scenery here as Kerrigan slays all minions before her.
She's a hungry hippo. Did you ever play that game?
Oh, that was such a fun game. Lumby is moving here, watching out for Xaylia. Xaylia does hit the combo in Nurok, and he will drop down to under a quarter health, which forces all of Misfits to pull back and allow the blue team to push in, which is what they want. The Shrine phase is very important. You want to grab it, make sure you have it, but even more important when the opposing team has a Sylvanas. Grabbing that Zeratul play was actually very key. Nice heads-up play by Xaylia.
I think this is probably one of the better maps for Dignitas' current situation, where Xaylia can just kind of be Kerrigan, do his solo thing on the Shrine, let him thrive in that situation, which we alluded to in the key points to some of Dignitas' victory. And yeah, it could work out well, but there goes Molten Core, and that will be keeping that quite healthy against that Punisher.
Another reason why Ragnaros can be so strong on this map. You lose the Shrine phase, suddenly you just get free defense there as his health bar suddenly takes over the fort, and your fort is still healthy afterwards. Look at that, they've already burned down to half health. Nurok, though, does find Mane. Wow, the patience was phenomenal there. Mane just able to get away with the slight pixel either.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he does have updraft as well helps him so much at that level 4. So if he didn't have that, he'd probably be dead.
Yeah. Well, Mane staying alive just barely, but you can see Nurok obviously has an eye out for taking that bird down if he gets the chance there. So we'll continually keep an eye on that matchup as this is the bottom fort. By the way, it only loses a sliver of health overall, so not a bad trade. Misfits do continue to be slightly behind, though. Level 7 talent's about to hit for Dignitas.
And that bottom camp being seized there by Dignitas. They want to try and take some of these at this point in time, just in case the next shrine comes up in a little moment. You know guaranteed the next shrine is not going to be at the bottom location because it just popped. So any camps you can take towards the bottom here allows a little bit of pressure and a potential delay in a rotation from your opponents.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, is they have to expend resources to defend against those mercenary camps, which opens up the flanks that we've been seeing before. Stitches can suddenly sit in a bush, get a hook off, Kerrigan can get an engage as well. So these are actually key to setting up your teammates to get those important plays that they're obviously looking for. Snitch is in the top lane taking some damage, but luckily he has some portals, gets away, comes back for the harass.
Back on in. Now, okay, so one thing to point out about Medivh, if you don't play him so much at level 7, 9 times out of 10 he's taking Master's Touch. You need to hit your Q 30 times without dying. If you do, it becomes God tier and the most annoying thing in the world to deal with. If you do die before 30 stacks, it's back to square one, my friend, and that is irritating for Medivh.
Essentially at that point you're talentless, right? You didn't get your level 7 talent in any way, shape, or form. So it is a very important moment for Medivh. They want to get it done as soon as possible, but it also becomes a main target for the Misfits to chase Medivh, which Medivh can do that himself, right? He can start getting to a scenario where, all right, well, I'm not going to play too out of position, and now your entire team's dead for trying to kill me.
Master's Touch. You haunt me in my dreams.
So true. Well, another shrine is popping up here, and that could be quite haunting here for Dignitas, as they are trying to grab as many as possible. There's the hook. Ragnaros in trouble. The heal from Splendor is wonderful, keeping Darkmok just alive. He can use his Keel here as well to get a little bit of health popped off and get back into the fight. Healing Ward has also been dropped down.
It was a good cleanse as well. I think he cleansed out the stun, or the potential stun from Kerrigan, not the roots that had already concluded. So good save there on Darkmok, of course, but you can see Jay just waiting at the front of this point, trying to look for the hook, going on towards Diablo. He charges a minion to get out of those roots. He knew cleanse was down, can't take that risk. What a great charge from Blumby.
Wonderful charge indeed. Blumby keeping up with the push here. 27 to 29. We are actually effective in this shrine phase, really even. Zelia trying to kite away. Blumby going for the chase. He gets the flip, pushes Zelia into his team. Zelia turns it around though, gets the auto attack. Force of Will coming out at the same time. It is very close right now. 36 to 36, 37 for Dignitas. Nurok looking for the potential kill here. He's low on health though, and it will go over to the Misfits.
If Misfits didn't win that Punisher, Darkmok had used Molten Core to try and provide extra damage on towards that location. So it would have been a disaster for them in a defensive position if they hadn't have won that. That was so close, so down to the wire.
All right, this is where it becomes important. They want to get a pick off before level 10 hits for Dignitas, because even though they have the Punisher, Dignitas, if they hit 10, they could turn around for the engage and potentially get into a fight. However, they just go ahead and pull on back. So if we would like, we can actually check out the replay and see how Dignitas lost that phase slightly to the Misfits. So here we go. We see it's super close right now, 36 to 36.
Yeah, as you can see, it's 4 members there at the moment. You can see pockets of damage being thrown in there by Ragnaros. Is going to come in for the reinforcement. So important to be there. Dignitas landed so many good little combos to try and kill them off, but Misfits rotated out each time to keep themselves alive.
All right, well, 3 members in the top lane. Misfits just hit level 10. They got a little bit of a push in the middle lane, and now the game becomes even. Nurok, once again, just keeping an eye on Snitch there. The Master's Touch, how is it going so far? It looks like we're not even halfway there, a little underneath, but he's still getting those stacks going.
It's difficult for a Medivh, I feel, to stack Master's Touch going up against this comp. Yeah. You don't want to be going too far forwards against a Diablo. You are fearful that a Zeratul could be waiting in the wings to kill you and deal some crippling damage. But JPL, very far forwards there. Goes for the hook. He actually went Putrid Bile as his heroic choice, so that's going to be fun to watch later on.
Yeah, great choice, especially against Diablo. As he escaped, JPL in trouble now. He pops Putrid Boil.
Apocalypse
starts to retreat. So first match does miss. Apocalypse goes off. Bakery taking some damage. Force of Will, though, is absolutely key there, but it's just not enough. Nurok with the cleave comes in, cleans up the fight on Bakery. 5 to 4 right now. Everyone from Misfits are incredibly healthy, and if there's any more engaging, Blumby can get that entire initiation, so they pull away.
Portal either had to be on cooldown there, or he didn't feel like he was in a good enough spot to get him out of harm's way. So a little bit of a bad spot there for Team Dignitas, losing their main healer, which means they can't really rival any of these positions towards the bot.
Yeah, even the fight still going off. Darkmok actually missed a Furious Smash, which would have been game over right away. But still, overall, you can see how much kill potential this team has if they're able to get the engages they would like. Shrine now activating in the next 5 seconds, and we should be seeing Kerrigan moving away over there.
And that's one of the things that's very important when you're going up against a Medivh. Yes, that Force of Will protect them from damage, but it doesn't protect them from CC.
Correct.
So still focusing on a target like that can be beneficial if you know you're going to have the follow-up after locking them in spot.
So I actually really like this play. First off, Master's Touch isn't done. Back to square 0. Oops-a-daisy. And now the entire team from Misfits takes Sylvanas and push the top lane. They realized everyone was in the position in the bottom lane. Yeah. There's no point even trying to get there. They're going to have such a lead. Instead, they go for a pick-off. They set Snitch back on his Medivh, and they just take a fort.
And it really does hurt that. It really does hurt. Didn't even have a chance to use Leyline Seal to try and save himself. That could be a calculated thing. That could have been saying, I know I'm going to die here. There's no point me using this cooldown at this point. It might be useful later on when I respawn.
Yeah, good play out there. Heads up by Snitch now, 39 to 0. Dignitas will try to grab an advantage somewhere on the map. They know they can clean that up relatively easy if they get the poke in, but we're going to have all of the Misfits move down here. And this play isn't to actually get the Shrine.
Yeah.
It's to say, okay, come grab this thing so we can get the game going.
Yeah,
exactly. We know you're trying to take advantage.
Imagine if they didn't get the 1.
Oh my gosh.
That would be a disaster. But you can see Blumby's positioning right now. He's trying to zone them out from getting towards it, but there you go. It will be taken there by Jay. and that is the Punisher going on towards them. Do they have Molten Core available is the question.
I believe they do. They have not used it yet. Darkmonk should be setting up for it. He's setting behind the fort. Could use it at any point, and there we go. The Punisher goes in for the engage. It jumps in. Did he actually time that perfectly? Sapphire Smash, though, does slam on Zelia, and Zelia is going to be stun locked, and it will be eliminated from the fight. Now the Punisher is all that's left to be dealt with, and Misfits turn around, and it looks like they will definitely save their fort.
Ragnaros' Rune Blast to kill off Kerrigan at the very end. Despite her popping Maelstrom, etc., there was just nothing to absorb shields from, not doing any damage at all. And that will end up falling, but they got the kill off the back of it, and they can now put that into counter-aggression.
All right, so Misfits actually do lose that fort. It was burned out by the Punisher just slightly. Now we can have pressure on this bottom lane, though, as they're going to go ahead and grab the sheep as they start pushing in. The Impalers, what they are called, taking out the turret, and they have Savants to go ahead and bolster this push. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, we have Zeratul soaking experience, moving towards the ever-looming goal of 16, then 20.
Over this next week, we're gonna play some Diablo, and we're gonna go and get some of those Khazra, and we're gonna like, ha, we got you, my friends. They're annoying little beggars, but for now, Zelia here, taking some damage against that Ragnaros, and will manage to get out for a moment. This could be bad. The Sulfura Smash didn't hit because the Void Prism was still active. Slight
mistiming there, just didn't drop it in time. Nurok and the rest of the crew will be pushed away by the mighty Gust. JPL has popped Future Boil, but he is actually going to be pulled on over by Diablo. Blumby looking for a kill. The cleanse comes out, though, from Bakery to make sure JPL stays alive. The hook goes off. Splendor is caught. He will start escaping, though. A nice E there from the Darkmonk, allowing for Rhaegar to run away, even though he was silenced.
The Blast Wave just speeding him up that little bit more. It's a great little bit of utility from Ragnaros to have available to you. And now, Dignitas here just kind of has to lick their wounds, recompose themselves, and get back on with things.
Sadly, Medivh being taken out once again. Again, Master Touch completely pushed down. Only one stack being available for him right now. So Dignitas is going to have to try and help Snitch in some way or some form to finish that off.
With the amount of kind of assassination potential that we're seeing from Misfits, I don't think that Master Touch is getting done anytime soon this game. It's going to be difficult for sure.
Not going to be a thing, and the thing is, it's going to get more difficult as we go on. Misfits is about to hit level 16 right now, and they're going to get that with the experience in the top lane. All they need to do is send Zeratul up there, and they are doing just that. Snitch looking for maybe a couple of stacks, but again, it's going to have to come down to this fight here if they want to grab this Punisher. The good news is, I feel like Dignitas could just sacrifice this if they would like to, because they have a fort in the middle lane, which can kind of bolster this push that's coming their way, and they can focus on getting 16.
Alright, so they do have Molten Core available to them as well, so that's always nice to go into the Shrine phase with. And as you say, node 16, so not exactly easy for Dignitas to do anything here. You're going to have to soak in the lanes. You can see Medivh in his bird form at the very top, just trying to soak and knowing that he doesn't want to land because he could be susceptible to some damage.
I'm kind of curious if Dignitas is going to go for a bold play here. I'm looking at the minimap, and Kerrigan and Paul said we're setting up in the middle in the bushes there. Looks like they decided to go ahead and prevent that from happening, especially with the pressure on the top lane.
I think they know where Zeratul is, JPL, I think they realized Snitch had spotted him via his little bird flying about, and they wanted to see if they could get a kill on him, but Zeratul's a slippery customer.
Well, with them moving up to try and get a play on Zeratul, that opens the middle lane widely here, and everyone starts pushing in. Nurok is heading up the front. They're going to go ahead and use Molten Core here to start sieging down on that back line. If you get a couple of members low on HP, and you see Bakery use a heal, from there you can go for a strong engage with Diablo. So they're going to be watching for that to keep slowly low on HP. Dignitas can't even defend this.
Are they going to go on? They need to force the jump onto from the Punisher. You can see them. They're trying to bait it down towards a bottom location, so it draws towards a keep as opposed to goes on towards the core, just in case Misfits felt like they could do something, but that's a hook on Blumby. Diablo, though, is insanely tanky now, so he'll be fine.
Yeah, especially with his talent build here. He's just such a good spot there, especially after he gets hooked and then goes into a root. So nice pickups by Blumby on his character. And overall, 17 to 16, a fort and a keep for effectively nothing for Misfits.
It's a minor thing, but the manipulation of that Punisher bouncing between two keeps there was brilliant by Dignitas in the defensive capability. Just forcing the jump, forcing it to bounce up and down so it doesn't get any damage done structurally, properly at least.
Yeah, not weakening their infrastructure too low, just taking a little bit of damage everywhere. I like it. Zelia, though, looks to be caught out of position here. Ragnaros gets the engage. Nurok will move in and dust out the Void Prism. Makefog does go out. The Mayday actually hit the Mighty Gust, which prevented Zeratul from actually stopping stopping that Void Person from going down and missing out, where they could have had a kill. And Misfits is going to be pushed away, but Snitch showing up, or not Snitch, the False Head showing up with the great Mighty Gust.
Yeah, Jay being able to get out as well. From Master's Touch from Medivh to portal out towards the top. That was very close to having a 40-second respawn timer basically on Stitches. And then all hell could have broken loose. No pun intended on Infernal Shrines with Diablo here.
Let's go ahead and say it was full point intended. I love those from you, man. That's why you're the best. Overall, Dignitas is moving towards an engage. They would love to fight right now if possible. Just to give you an update on the Master's Touch, I believe there's only 5 stacks available for Snitch. So I guess we're just going to go ahead and count that talent being not used for the entire game because it's just not happening for them. Zeratul is pretty much the designated soaker for this team. You know how Falstad is the soaker for Dignitas here with Mene?
Yeah.
Zeratul just goes in middle lane, soaks the experience, pushes the top lane, and makes sure things are consistently pushing.
I know Submerge has been our go-to for Ragnaros in the past 2 games for Misfits, but what do you think about going heroic mode on this map and trying to find a Punisher and then use that to just finish a game outright with big damage from heroic mode?
It can be helpful. I think you make that decision if you are just hitting 20 while you have a Punisher pushing.
Maybe.
If you don't have the Punisher pushing, you go for Submerge right away. It's more of like a last-second niche pick of like, all right, we're on the keep.
Let's go.
Our Punisher's half health. Boys, let's make the play, right? And you slam it and you go in there. So it could be a possibility. However, it looks like they're going to be about 19.5, maybe 19.75 when they finish the shrine. So that could be up in the air.
All right, let's see. Snitch just scouting them out there. As Medivh, you are invincible and not susceptible to any damage as you are the bird just flying around and being scouted.
Jargon's engaging on the left here.
Oh.
Jumps on Blumby, hits the combo. The combo is down. Force of
Portal.
Will does come out. The portal's there, but Zelia misses the communication, gets focused down. Blumby looking for more, but that's still a 5v4. A Kerrigan pick is all Misfits would love to have.
And that means the shrine is just 1 for Misfits. I don't know how without Kerrigan, of all heroes, without Kerrigan, how are you going to contest this for 30 seconds?
You're not. That's the answer. And they know it too. In fact, let's look in the bottom right. We have Nurok on Zeratul looking for Falstad. Mene trying to go for the back. Sadly will miss out. Does get the Q off though, keeping Nurok away from the fight. And now Mene can go ahead and back away from the fight overall. It's going to clear this, get that experience. We have the Shrine phase 30-0 right now. All the team has to do now is group up, get ready for their heroics, and get ready to push down the top lane.
Misfits in this series came to play. When you go into a league format like this for the HGC Europe, you know your opponent well in advance. You know your first opponent, you prepare your heart out, and oh boy, have Misfits prepared for Team Dignitas here. Big rivals in the European scene, and right now, business is about to pick up here for Misfits.
I gotta agree with you. You mentioned it in the first game. They just seem comfortable. They're on cruise control, and they are doing the same here in game number 3. In particular, Hasselhoff just looks like he's in place here, playing Sylvanas almost perfectly here. But let's watch out for Nurok, and we'll watch out for Dark Monk as well. These are the 2 key playmakers to see if they can end the game.
He's taking heroic mode. He's actually going to go for this.
He's going for it.
Level 20, bring down this keep and then go heroic mode and put big damage on towards them. At the moment, the Punisher is still there, still alive, very healthy. Here comes that Molten Core.
The Apocalypse. JPL in trouble. Saphir spawns out. Stitches is getting burned down. JPL falls victim to the Misfits. Medivh in trouble as well. Bakery forced to use Ice Block, but if they can take out one more member, this is definitely game. Zelia in trouble. Kerrigan trying to retreat. He's going to jump on in.
And Kerrigan ends up falling as well. Big AoE damage all across the board. Portals for Snitch to try and get out of there. Punisher is still alive. Bakery being charged down by Blumby. He goes down 4-0. Misfits takes the game. They take the series 3-0 against Dignitas.
Congratulations to Misfits coming out in Europe HGC and showing just how dominant they can be. This is a massive win for them, especially knowing that they play against Fnatic on Sunday. Of course, Dignitas did look pretty solid. Overall, they're playing against one of the best teams in Europe. But Misfits, man, as mentioned, they were just prepared.
I'd love to take another look at those final moments there as well, going into that final core fight. Of course, I think, you know, heroic mode is something like you can still use Sulfura Smash as Molten Core, so bringing this keep down is so important. Then you can follow it up, watch the amount of damage that gets done to JPL after that VP final finishes.
I love Blumby in the bottom right before all that happened. He kept Kerrigan away from stopping Ragnaros from doing what he wanted to do, and then from here, the dominoes fell as they were placed. We saw JPL getting taken out, Bakery was forced to bolt away, and then from there, they just took their team play, their coordination, what they've been doing for so long, and cruise control their way to taking out the core. Wonderful job by Misfits. Misfits.
I'm wondering if they would have actually had level 20 if they hadn't have got that Kerrigan pick-off in towards the mid, because they may not have had the right amount of experience to actually go down and actually secure that, but remains to be seen. Regardless, they played a blinder of a series.
Yeah, for you at home, we're going to be talking to Misfits pretty soon, but right now, I just want to ask you, Kalaris, when it comes to Ragnaros,
Ask me about Ragnaros,
do we
please.
just start banning that guy out? He seemed to be so impactful for Misfits, and he seemed to be the foundation for this team.
Maybe. The problem for a lot of teams, especially here in the HGC Europe, is that, yes, Ragnaros is very strong, but the meta in Europe right now is very diverse.
True.
So trying to ban out some of these things can just lead to other very, very strong picks that these teams are very, very strong with. Things like Tassadar, for example, that has been around forever, but you see how powerful it can be in the hands of teams like Misfits.
It was quite a chore to watch that entire thing fold out, and I loved seeing it. We're starting to get our first glimpse into what the 2017 meta will be like. We had Diablo mixed in. We had Stitches in here as well. Ragnaros being popped out. It seems like Europe is just going to have a fun time these next few weeks, and I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, you said ask me about Ragnaros. I could talk about Ragnaros for days. He is...
Well, what do you think about the build diversity? It seemed overall it was mostly Q build, but we saw a different forward talent a couple times throughout there. What do you think about those changes there?
So, actually, I'm not a huge fan of Q build because I like to be my special snowflake self.
You're a beautiful snowflake.
No, thank you. But, of course, it's definitely the strongest build right now. There is that diversity at 4. There is that diversity a little bit at 13, just in case you're not going up against many stuns, so you don't have to have that strength against the lockdown. But I was really anticipating that level 20 diversity because you see that heroic. You saw how much damage it did to JPL. Stitch is melted.
And a key moment like that, it seems almost unthinkable not to pick it, right? And in fact, we're going to be talking to Darkmonk pretty soon here, and we can actually ask him about Ragnaros. So I'm going to let you pick his brain like crazy because he seems to be an expert on that hero. Normally, we're seeing him play the Illidan's, the Kerrigans, the Alarax to a degree, but it was actually very awesome to watch and witness him play Ragnaros and Volo, which is a hero that we don't see him on as much.
Yeah, that's true. And also, you know, there's still diversity to come, as you were saying there, pointing out some of the potential picks like Alarak that can be very, very powerful. I mean, in my notes alone, I have all of these little notes on things like Alarak, on things, you know, other heroes, but, you know, sometimes they just don't pick them because they have that deep a hero pool to just show why they are one of the strongest, if not the strongest, in Europe right now. That remains to be seen, obviously going up against Fnatic later on in the week.
All right, well, let's talk to Darkmonk right now and get his thoughts on the entire matchup. Darkmonk, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hello.
All right, hello, Darkmonk. How are you, my friend?
I am feeling great. I am really relieved that the series is over, since it's the first one to start off the HGC.
Darkmonk, I'm just kind of wanting to figure out what you thought about that entire matchup. It seems like Ragnaros was an absolute key to victory.
Yeah, we figured out pretty quickly that Ragnaros is one of the strongest heroes right now in the whole game, in my opinion. And they did not seem to be aware of that, so we took advantage of that.
So I'm actually kind of wondering what you think is going to be happening with Fnatic. You obviously have to face off against them on Sunday. It's a big matchup. Can we get any words of wisdom from you? Are you expecting a win there, or is it going to be a tough match?
So Dignitas should be technically the easier opponent since they have a new addition to their team, and Fnatic showed really did show up really a big time on the global stage at BlizzCon. So I think they will be a lot stronger, but we did not play against them this week, so I don't know how the matchup will go. But I'm pretty confident that we can beat them because I think we've pretty much figured out the meta right now.
Fantastic stuff, man. I hope that you can figure out the meta. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to let you get off of this show here, man. Go back to practicing. You guys played phenomenally, and congratulations, man, on your first win.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome stuff there from Darkmonk. Such a great thing to see.
All
now,
right,
of course, we do have one more matchup here at HGC Europe. We're going to get the pleasure of watching Team Expert take on Diamond Skin. We'll be back soon with that match.
I'm searching for an apprentice. Someone to train in the art of righteous warfare. Someone to carry my shield, my name, and my crusade after I fall in battle. Not everyone is suited for this life. The crusade is a heavy burden, but someone has to carry it. My name is Johanna. I am searching for an apprentice. Interested?
I was told this suit would be my prison. Suits me just fine. Been called a lot of things. A renegade, an outlaw. Guilty as charged. Makes life exciting. You never know who or what will be on your side. So when the Nexus King called it, there was only one thing to say. Hell, it's about time.
So, one day I wake up to find that me and my friends are lost. Again! No one said it was your fault, Olaf. But if there's one thing we're good at, it's... Getting lost? No, Balog, we're good at... Now what?